Christian Horner's been sacked by Red Bull. Probably the biggest bombshell news we've had in Formula One since we heard Lewis Hamilton was moving to Ferrari. Genuinely shocking news, but also a little bit inevitable if you've been following the news cycle over the past 18 months. A weird paradox of both being surprising and not surprising at the same time. We don't know in Formula One a Red Bull without Christian Horner. He's been there for 20 years. Every bit of success that Red Bull has had has come through Christian Horner. Every championship, every win, every pole position. And this now is uncharted territory for that team. Now, why has it happened now? And what is with the timing of this? Randomly after the British Grand Prix, we're exactly halfway into this season. I think there's a lot of things at play. You have to go back a long way to see the beginning of this. In 2020, Dietrich Mateschitz passed away. He was the Red Bull founder. His death basically deepened divisions that were in the team already between Christian Horner, between Helmut Marko, between the Austrian side of the Red Bull business that Dietrich Matteschitz's son now is in control of. Christian Horner steadfastly said to people behind the scenes he was the reason for the success of the team. I think it's something he believes very, very categorically to be true. And there's an argument that he was a very, very big part of it. Whether he was the sole part of it, I think a lot of people in Red Bull took umbrage with. But that's definitely what he told the Thai side of the business, who had the controlling share. Now, the reason all of that is important is because when Christian Horner last year was accused of sexual misconduct, most people wanted him within the company, wanted him to resign. He didn't. He steadfastly stayed in that position. And one of the people that wanted him to resign more than anyone else was Jos Verstappen, the father of Max Verstappen. And Jos and Christian Horner fell out so badly that Jos Verstappen wasn't coming to races for a long time last year, just to keep harmony behind the scenes. Now, Adrian Newey has since left Red Bull, and it has felt behind the scenes like there's been a bit of a falling apart of this great dynasty team. Newey leaving, Jonathan Wheatley has just gone to the Sauber team. In fact, just orchestrated Nico Hülkenberg's podium as team boss there. Two really important parts of the team leaving. Horner had kept his feet firmly to the position that he was still running things and that everything was going perfectly well. Obviously, things have changed massively in 2025. Red Bull went from dominating Formula One for the past couple of seasons to really struggling with their car this year. Now, first of all, we saw Liam Lawson getting replaced by Yuki Tsunoda. Max Verstappen had been saying time and time again, the driver in that car isn't the issue. The car is the issue. I'm just driving it so well that I'm masking it in the other car. And I think most people in Formula One now believe that to be true. Max's own position has come increasingly under scrutiny in the media. There's a performance clause in his contract. He might be able to walk away from Red Bull if he's lower than third at the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but the idea of Red Bull without Max Verstappen is quite a scary one to a lot of people within Red Bull. And interestingly, over the past couple of races, Christian Horner had started to say, well, look, maybe we need to consider that future without Max Verstappen. Sport goes in cycles. The sport is secular. You go from one great driver to the next. Obviously, what he said resonated, but I think a lot of people making those decisions thought, well, maybe we need to think about a future without Christian Horner rather than without Max Verstappen. And he is right. The sport does go in cycles, but right now, losing potentially the best driver of the modern era is something that Red Bull can't stomach. And if it came to a straight choice between Horner and Verstappen, I think it was a pretty obvious decision. Now, that's not to say Max Verstappen has forced Christian Horner out. He's been very, very smart about the way he's spoken about Horner over the years. But you do get the impression that those close to Max did not want to continue with Christian Horner being part of that team. And you do wonder now, with the talk of going to Mercedes getting louder and louder and louder, is this one concession they had to make to keep the Verstappens on board? We don't think Red Bull are going to be the most competitive team next season. They've got their own new engine. It's a brand new set of rules. Having Christian and an uncompetitive car might have been too much for the Verstappens to stomach. Having a bad car, but having a team now led by Laurent Mekies, a team that I imagine will have a lot less of the tension and the acrimony behind the scenes that it's had over the past couple of months. That might be an easier situation for Verstappen to stomach. I don't think they will still be able to keep him long term if Mercedes or Aston Martin can make him a great pitch, or even Ferrari, depending on who has the best car next season. But it is a massive step in the direction of saying, if we had to pick between the two of them, Christian Horner and Max Verstappen, it's Max Verstappen all day long. So we'll see now what happens with Horner. He's been linked with Ferrari previously, but this is the first time he's been in this situation. Whether Lewis Hamilton will want to work with Christian Horner after 2021 remains to be seen. We don't even know if Fred Vasseur is going to get sacked by Ferrari. So Horner now has gone from a position of massive influence, massive control behind the scenes, to being unemployed overnight. And people I've spoken to at Red Bull have been surprised by that. And it did seem to come out of the blue, even though the tension behind the scenes has been there. So completely uncharted territory. Red Bull now going into a brand new era without Horner at the helm. And it will be fascinating to hear from the man himself, Max Verstappen, about all of this when we speak to him ahead of the Belgian Grand Prix at the at the end of this month. There's a bit of a break now in Formula One, and to see whether this has changed his outlook on racing with Red Bull until 2028, which is when he is currently contracted to.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.